Why have you stopped?
Solio Incessa in Igne, seated on a throne,
Thank you, Jalebi, there is no reply.
with Purus Velis, by with or from purple sails.
And something from the post, if you would be so kind.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Septimus, musica tibiarum imperabat. Music of pipes commanded,
Rule this better.
as if amorous.
That is very good.
Regina reclinabat. The queen was reclining.
Try to put some poetry into it.
How can I if there is none in the Latin?
Oh, a critic.
Is it Queen Dido?
No.
Who is the poet?
Known to you.
Known to me?
Not a Roman.
Mr. Cheater.
Your translation is quite like Chater.
I know who it is. It is your friend Byron.
Lord Byron, if you please.
Mamma is in love with Lord Byron.
Yes, nonsense.
It is not nonsense. I saw them together in the gazebo. Lord Byron was reading to her from his satire. Mamma was laughing with her head in her best position.
She did not understand the satire and was showing politeness to a guest.
She is vexed with Papa for his determination to alter the park. But that alone cannot account for her politeness to a guest. She came down hours before her custom. Lord Byron was amusing at breakfast. He paid you a tribute, Septimus.
Oh, did he?
He said you were a witty fellow. He had almost by heart an article you wrote about. Well, I forget what now. But it concerned a book called The Maid of Turkey, and how you would not give it to your dog for dinner.
And, Mr. Chater was at breakfast, I suppose?
He was. Not like certain lazy bones.
Well, he does not have Latin to set and mathematics to correct.
Correct. What was incorrect in it? Alpha minus? Pooh! What is the minus for?
For doing more than was asked.
You do not like my discovery.
A fancy is not a discovery.
A jibe is not a rebuttal. You are churlish with me because Mamma is paying attention to your friend. Well, let them alone. Cannot turn back the advancement of knowledge. I think it's an excellent discovery. Each week, I plot your equations dot for dot, x's against y's, in all manner of algebraic relation, and every week they draw themselves as commonplace geometry, as if the world of forms were nothing but arcs and angles. God's truth, Septimus. If there is an equation for a curve like a bell, well then there must be one for a curve like a bluebell. And if a bluebell, why not a rose? Do we believe nature is written in numbers?
We do?
Then why do your equations only draw themselves as shapes of manufacture?
I do not know.
Hammed thus, God could only make a cabinet.
He has a mastery of equations that can lead him into infinities to which we cannot follow.
What a faint heart. We will start with something simple. I will plot this leaf and deduce its equation. It will be famous for being my tutor when Lord Byron is dead and forgotten.
Back to Cleopatra.
Is it Cleopatra? Ugh, I hate Cleopatra.
You hate her? Why?
Everything is turned to love with her. New love, old love, absent love. I never met a heroine who made such noodles of our sex. It only takes a Roman general to drop anchor outside a window, and away goes the empire like a christening mug in a pawn shop. If Queen Elizabeth had been a Ptolemy, history would have been quite different. We would be admiring the pyramids of Rome and the great Sphinx of Verona.
Oh, God, save us!
But instead, the Egyptian noodle made carnal embrace to the enemy who burned the great library of Alexandria without so much as a fine for all that is overdue. Septimus, can you bear it? All the lost plays of the Athenians, thousands of poems, Aristotle's own library, brought to Egypt by the noodle's ancestors. How can we sleep for grief?
counting our stock. My lady, you should no more grieve for them than you grieve for a buckle lost from your first shoe, or your math primer that will be lost when you are old. We shed as we pick up, like travelers who must carry everything in our arms. And what we drop will be picked up by those behind us. The procession is very long and life is very short, but there's nothing outside of the march, so nothing can be lost to it. Now, where were they? Let me attempt a free translation. At Harrow, I was better at this than Lord Byron. Okay, yes. The barge she sat in, like a burnished throne, the something. The boat was beaten gold. Purple the sails, and what's this? Yes, oh yes, so perfumed that...
Cheat!
That the winds were lovesick with.
Cheat!
And the oars were silver, to which the tune of the
Cheat!
captain's drum. And made the water which they beat to follow faster as asmerce as their strokes. For her own person it beggared all description. She did lie in the pavilion.
I hope you die.
Good God, sir. What have you told her?
Told her what?
Hodge?
Shader, don't hang back. Come in.
Captain Bryce does me the honor, sir. I mean to say, whatever you have to say to me, address to Captain Bryce.
How unusual. Your wife did not appear this morning. I trust she's not sick.
My wife? I have no wife. What the devil do you mean, sir?
I'm afraid I don't understand the scheme, For who am I to address when I mean to address Captain Bryce?
Ah, slippery Hodge. Slippery.
By the way, Chater, someone has taken to writing wild and whirling letters in your name. I received one not half an hour ago.
Mr. Hodge, look to your honor, sir. You cannot attend to me without this foolery. Nominate your second who might sell this business to the gentleman. No doubt your friend Byron would do you a service.
Yes, he would do me the service. Sir, I repent your injury. You are an honest fellow with no more malice in you than you have poetry.
Oh, well, that is more like the thing. Is he apologizing?
There's still the injury to Mrs. Chater.
Tush, sir!
As you will her. Tush. Nevertheless.
Oh, excellently found. Mr. Chater, this will please you very much. Lord Byron begs a copy of your new book. He dies to read it and intends to include your name in his second edition of English Bards and Scotch Reviewers.
But English Bards and Scotch Reviewers, your ladyship, is a doggerel aimed at Lord Byron's seniors and betters. If he intends to include me, he intends to insult me.
Well, of course he does, Mr. Chater. Would you rather be thought not worth insulting? You should be proud to be in the company of Rogers, Moore, and Wordsworth. Ah, the Couch of Errors.
That is my copy, madam.
So much the better. What are a friend's books for, if not to be borrowed? Mr. Hodge, you must beat your friend and put him out of his affectations of pretending to quit us. I will not have it. He says he is determined on the Malta packet sailing out of Falmouth. His head is full of Lisbon and Lesbos and his portmanteau of pistols, and I have told him it is not to be thought of. The whole of Europe is in a Napoleonic fit. All the best ruins will be closed, roads entirely occupied by the movement of armies, and the fashion for godless republicanism not yet arrived at its natural reversion. He says his aim is poetry. One does not aim at poetry with pistols. At poets, perhaps. I charge you, take command of his pistols, Mr. Hodge. He is not safe with them. His lameness, he confessed to me, is entirely a result of his habit from boyhood of shooting himself in the foot. What is that noise?
Well, that's the Broadwood pianoforte in the other room. That's our music lessons with Thomasino are at an early stage.
Or restrict your lessons to the piano side of the instrument and let her loose on the forte when she's learned something.
That was not God speaking through Lady Croom. He has never spoken through anyone.
Take command of Lord Byron's pistols.
Mr. Hodge, there is still Mr. Chater's question. How will you answer him?
By killing him. I'm tired of him.
Ah,
Oh, damn your soul, Chater. Virgil would have stayed a lawyer and Ovid a farmer if they would have known the bathos to which love would descend with your sportive satyrs and noodle nymphs. I will be at your service with a half-ounce ball in your brain. Shall we say, behind the boathouse at 5 o'clock? Do not fear for Mrs. Chater. She will not want for protection when Captain Bryce has a guinea for her in his pocket. He's told her so himself.
you lie, sir.
No, Mrs. Chater, perhaps.
You lie and you'll answer to me.
Oh, very well. I can fit you in at 5 minutes after 5. And then it's all to the Malta packet out of Falmouth. You two will be dead. My pretentious friend will stay to tutor Lady Thomasina, and I trust that everyone, including Lady Croom, will be satisfied.
He is all bluster and cider shaker. Rest assured, I will let the air out of him.